San Diego, California. Good morning. And welcome to your behind-the-scenes tour of the CW6 Good Morning San Diego program. Starts out bright and early at a local hotel. I advise that you try to find a hotel as close to the studio as possible. This one is 6.1 minutes away from the studio. And I've stayed here many times. This is a Four-Point Sheraton in San Diego. And I'm a Starwood member, so I stay here. Man, I've stayed here probably, surprisingly, like 10 times in the last 18 months or so, because I've done so many appearances on the CW and especially on Fox 5 San Diego. Both of these places are really close to this hotel, and you need to find hotels that are close to your studio locations so that it's nice and easy for you to get to the studio in the morning.
This is our new best friend here, Clint Arthur.
These are the basic elements of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness that Americans can relate to and understand, and they look for those elements in their leaders.
Well, it's a fascinating analysis. Clint, thanks for coming in.
Thank you for having me.
Clint Arthur, you're the best.
Oh,
Thanks
thank
so
you.
much for being here. We just love him, don't we?
So, how do you find the hotel that's going to be closest to the studio? Good old Google Maps, baby. Google everything. Anything you ever want is going to be in Google. So, first you're going to Google the studio on Google Maps. Then you're going to input hotel in the search in that same area. And then you will get directions from the hotels to the studio in Google Maps. I mean, it's a fair question. You're going to cities that you've never been to before, and you don't know your way around, so you have to rely on your good buddy Google to help you find your way where you need to go. Now, I've already been up for about an hour and a half and had a lovely breakfast and read the Wall Street Journal and USA Today. And you know what? I'm here to talk about Super Tuesday and the President's Code. And sure enough, Super Tuesday is all over the front page of both those newspapers. I am so on the money. You want to be forecasting ahead. You want to be booking yourself into the news trends. Just exactly the way I did with this one. When you can forecast the news, when you're watching what's happening in the world and what's going to be on the news in the future, you're going to be on the news in the future. So I'm getting to the studio early today because I've got one of my students coming to do a ride-along with me to meet the producer. And this is a great way. It's a great way to get booked. We're going to work on his segment a little bit before we get there, and then we'll go inside the studio, meet the producer. Her name is Tiffany, and try to be low-key about the whole situation, but at the same time, we've got a job to do. And what is the job of the new TV Power Magic Messenger? The job is to get booked so that you can get your message on television and share it with the masses on the most powerful mass medium on the planet. So that's what we're going to do. This is the street. This is the kind of neighborhoods a lot of these things are in. One good tip when you don't know where you're going is to look for the antennas. A lot of times, the only way you're going to find these places is by the giant broadcasting antennas that they have. Now there's some over there. That may be it. There it is, CW. Okay, so all of that stuff is great. Now, how do we relate that to everybody?
Right.
Because TV is about every single person and what they do every day.
Okay, so I think I've never met someone who enjoyed fueling up their car and giving gas and oil companies money. Okay? And every American, every human being I've ever met, I've spent a lot of time overseas, loves the idea of being free and not being a slave to a big corporation that doesn't care about them.
Okay.
So, it's one of the ways I decided to take a stand of my own is, I'm fortunate enough to have worked hard to afford the car, so some people certainly aren't going to relate to that, but now, at the new electric Ford Focus, we've got the new electric smart car, the technology is within the reach of everyone, but the question is, how do you get off the grid? How do you not be a slave to the electric companies? And also, if you look at it, almost all the electricity, for example, in California, generated by coal.
Right.
So it's still big money and big corporate. And I would prefer, and most people I talk to, they'd say, would you prefer to support entrepreneurs? There are entrepreneurs setting up solar panels and installing. It's innovative.
Right.
And so take a stand, participate in a disruptive trend, which is to get off the grid, get off the teat of big companies that don't care about you.
Okay. Look, obviously it's so interesting, right? Mm-hmm. It's so interesting that obviously it could be how one man got off the grid. Mm-hmm. Okay, that's... Right. But what I try to do with my students is to create a segment that transcends their own uniqueness mm-hmm. and becomes a great segment because it's great TV.
Right.
All right, so can we throw in Celebrity Hook? Mm-hmm. What's the celebrity hook? You
look at Bill Maher and who's the guy from Titanic? I'm having Leonardo DiCaprio. You got George Clooney. They all have Tesla Roadsters.
Okay.
And have made a stand as well. I mean, they're big believers in this technology, and so.
Okay. Yep. That's great. Mm-hmm. All right. Now, how about the pop culture hook? Mm-hmm. The pop culture hook is Exxon, Mobil, and Shell.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, BW.
Right? Yep.
It's BT. That's what it is.
BP.
Sorry, BP. Yeah, there you go. And they just settled for, what was it, $13 billion or some nonsense?
Okay.
And there's still more to come.
What about Timely Hook?
The Timely Hook is, I don't know about you, but the last time I went and filled up my gas tank right now here in California, the gas is $4.73 a gallon.
Record high gasoline prices hitting right now. Okay, what prop? We got the car.
Yep, and the video footage. I don't know if you've seen the intro, but it's the intro is all of my employees. I'm giving them rides, and they're screaming or they're smiling with the Tesla smile, Tesla grin, and all of them said the exact same thing without knowing anything, which is it feels like I'm on a roller coaster. It's fun as hell.
All right, and what about a costume?
Mm-hmm.
Well, now, a lot of students resist the idea of a costume, mm-hmm. but without a costume, you're just another regular person.
Sure.
This is why chefs get booked all the time, mm-hmm. because they wear a costume. What's your costume? What's a possibility for a costume for you?
Let's see. Well, I'll tell you one that I've used on stage before. I probably wouldn't come on TV. I have my Disruptosaurus. I wear a dinosaur costume, and I have a megaphone.
Okay.
And I've actually gone out, I was in Park City, Utah at the Sundance. I spoke there the first time I ever wore it, and I directed traffic. And, people were like, what are you? And I said, I'm a Disruptosaurus. I'm disrupting traffic.
You have video footage of you doing that?
I do have.
Okay, that could just be B-roll video mm-hmm. footage of you in your Disruptosaurus costume. That fulfills the costume requirement.
Okay.
Okay?
Yeah.
All right, so now we come back to the hook, which is going to be the subject line or the headline of your segment proposal. What do you think is the best representation for you? Here's some ones that are really working great for me.
Okay, yeah, go ahead.
5 New Year's resolutions you should never make.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I twisted that into 5 foods you should never eat in a New York City restaurant for a restaurant client. Okay, who has unique dishes. Mm-hmm. I've twisted that into 5 New Year's toasts you should never make for my speech consultants. Mm-hmm. Right? How to lose weight by adding butter to your popcorn. That's the counterintuitive hook. Okay, that's been twisted by a student into how to lose weight by eating Halloween candy for a diet book.
Yep.
Do you have a counterintuitive hook?
Haven't gone down this path before, so.
Or it could be the celebrity hook. Okay, I have George Clooney will never be president, but Eli Manning could. Okay,
Right.
that's the timely celebrity hooks.
Right. Let's see. Well, we've got, if we look on down the path again, we got Bill Maher, George Clooney, Leonardo DiCaprio, who played Rain Man?
Dustin Hoffman.
Dustin Hoffman, he has one. I can go down, and Brad Pitt.
Okay.
They all 5 have Tesla Roadsters and drive them regularly. So, I mean, if we use their names,
Right.
what if 4 of them and me all have in common? You know, that would be kind of. But that, again, that doesn't make it interesting for the
Right. How do
viewer.
we relate that to
Back
the
to
viewer?
them, right?
To the average guy. Like,
Uh-huh.
like one of the things I was playing with on the way over was 5 things you should never do with electricity.
Okay.
Does that work for you in some way? Does that spur anything
Sure,
for you?
sure. 5 things you should never do with electricity.
Because everybody's using electricity every day.
Yeah. Well, one of them could be you should never use gasoline for. That could be another one, which is you shouldn't drive your car with gasoline.
5 things you should never do with gasoline. You should, number 1, you should never drive your car with it. Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, well, what's 2, 3, 4, and 5?
Yeah.
Right.
Let's see. You can add the Muslim hook. You never pour it on your body and let yourself on fire. Yeah. Exactly. If you're Egyptian.
Let's go back to the celebrity hook.
Yeah.
All right. How George Clooney and Leonardo DiCaprio should be could influence your daily commute. Yeah, I like that. How will George Clooney and Leonardo DiCaprio impact your daily commute?
Okay.
Okay?
All right.
And that's a great hook. I mean,
All right.
you're pretty good at hooks.
I'm actually, I'm not good at them for me. I'm good at them for other people, so it's a lot easier for me to be in your spot.
Sure.
You know? Because just being objective and thinking about, okay, what's going to make it interesting? I'm the classic shoemaker's children. Crappy website, you know. I'm in the business.
I know, it's always easier to be on the outside
totally.
looking in.
Be consultative. So, so how George Clooney and Leonardo DiCaprio can, what was the
Impact your daily commute.
impact your daily commute?
We have the director of Life with Tesla, Mike Koenigs, here to talk to us about the new electric car revolution, and how he took his life off the grid, and how George Clooney, Leonardo DiCaprio, Dustin Hoffman, Brad Pitt, and other celebrities are taking their lives off the grid, and how you can follow their example to influence your daily commute and the rest of your life.
Got it.
Okay?
Okay.
All right, good.
So I got to come up with some sound bites that are appealing and interesting. And, I mean, from there, it's just basically Q&A, I assume. Someone's going to say, well, what all these guys have in common? Well, they've got Tesla Roadsters and...
Well, now the Q&A. They're going to ask you for, what are your talking points? All right? Now, what is your message?
I think the message is electric cars and getting off the grid are practical, and they're rapidly becoming cost-effective. And with increasing gas prices, you don't want to be held hostage to the oil companies and big business.
Like Exxon, Mobil, and Shell, and BP.
Yeah.
Right? Not only are these companies reaping record profits, but they're also destroying the environment.
Yep. And they don't care about you. They hate babies and Jesus. That's what I like to say. I'm just messing with you, but But yeah, it's like you know, they're interested in their quarterlies, not in supporting and helping you. I mean, we don't have to become that negative, but that's
yeah. How you can join with Brad Pitt and George Clooney to change the world on your daily commute.
Is that going to sound too elitist to the average schmo, or are they gonna connect and relate to that? Are they going to go, it's not me? That's one of the reasons I've been careful about it, because the reality is that car costs $150,000, you know, so it's out of touch. So I always use it and say, this is representative of what's to come,
right?
Because we have the next generation. So solar has become 3 times more efficient and 1/3 the cost just in the past few years.
Let's link it to the release of the iPad 3.
Okay.
Okay?
All right.
And the iPhone 5 coming up. When they first came out, an iPhone 5 was an iPhone 1 was really expensive. Now you get the iPhone 1 for free when you sign up for service.
So it's you can be part of the revolution, and it's going to become affordable and reachable for anyone.
Right.
Okay. Yep. Okay.
Another pop cultural link like that.
Yeah, and be part of Apple. That would be another good hook as well, a connection with Apple, just being part of the revolution. The fact that they've been, you know, like electric cars, people have been predicting, you know, it's never going to happen, but they were predicting Apple was going to go out of business for the past 20 years, and they didn't have any market share. Now they're the most valuable company in the world, and they're just the iPhone side of their business is generating $20 billion per quarter more than Microsoft.
Okay, so most important, what is the takeaway for the viewer, for the regular Joe?
The regular Joe is the technology is there you go. You can see the attention that thing gets everywhere you go.
Yeah.
But the average Joe is. It may seem crazy to you now, just like the iPhone seemed crazy to you a little while ago. But electric cars are practical, affordable, and you can get off the grid and never have to fuel up ever again.
What can the average Joe do in their life now while they're waiting for electric cars to come online or be affordable? How can they take steps to get off the grid even now?
I'd say watch my documentary and find out how easy it is to do.
Yeah.
I mean, it's free.
It's a free documentary?
Yeah.
How do they do that?
Go to lifeoftesla.com. You can download the movie for free. And you can see exactly how I got off the grid and how I drive an electric car, and I haven't had to fill up my gas tank in almost 2 years.
Oh, Mike, we just got someplace there. Seriously. Because now you're giving a free gift to the audience, and that's awesome. Great. So that's really beautiful, man.
Yeah.
Okay.
That part's easy. And it happens to be available on Amazon Video On Demand. And you can watch it on your television. You can watch it on YouTube.
I like lifewithtesla.com.
Yeah, oh yeah, of course. Because I want the lead.
Yeah.
And it went viral. It just so happens I've got a pretty substantial database. You know,
how many people have watched it already?
Probably about 10,000. Every Tesla owner, including corporate, I actually had an interview with one of the original founders of Tesla as a result of it. It got all their attention. And I drove into the Tesla dealership in Santa Monica one day, and I pulled up, and I asked him, you know, because you get free charges when you're over there, and I pulled up and I go, hi, my name's Mike Koenigs, and I'd like to, and the guy just interrupts me and goes, I know who you are, you're famous around here. And I'm like, what?
Yeah. All right, well, how about modifying the hook to how you can join George Clooney, Brad Pitt, and 10,000 regular people in getting off the grid?
Oh, there you go. That's very inclusive. I like that. Yeah. It's so easy. All you got to do is watch. Yeah.
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 Excellent.
You can make the first move right now. Just watch a free documentary. It'll explain exactly how it happened.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I think we really got someplace with that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay?
I'll have to watch it and review it just so I can kind of pop it in my head.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So you're going to take this and you're going to mold it into one of my segment proposals.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? Which will include the headline, which will include links to B-roll footage.
Yep. It's all
of
done.
Not just your documentary, but of also George Clooney and Brad Pitt with their cars, right? And if you have that.
I can get the pictures. They're online.
Great.
Yeah. So there's a few of them you can see. you can see a number of them getting in and out of their cars as they walk. Yeah, I've seen them. Yeah.
Awesome, man. This is a great segment.
Okay.
All right.
That's great.
Okay.
Right.
So we're gonna go inside and we're gonna meet the producer Tiffany,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm gonna introduce her to you. I'm gonna introduce you to her as my good friend and one of my students, and also a really interesting guy who's involved in your stuff. And it's very important to just be super cool and, no pressure, and just let it happen.
Yep.
Because you're so interesting and your hook is so good that she'll just naturally want it. All right? Have fun. Like, just be your charming, fun, normal self, and it'll all be cool.
Yeah. It turns out I know one of the people who used to work here. Her name's Jenny Hamill.
Okay.
She used to be one of the... she had her own show, and she's one a reporter. And I can name drop too if that's any use.
Name dropping often works.
Okay.
The most important thing is to just be easy and fun. Now, when I'm going to go in the studio, I'm going to try to angle it so that you'll go in the control booth with her and get to hang out with her.
Sure.
You just want to stick close to Tiffany. All right?
Great.
Awesome.
New York, as soon as I'm ready. He's just been waiting for me to finish my book.
She's wait right here in the green room, and Tiffany will be with you in a moment.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Hi, good morning.
Good morning.
How you doing?
Yeah.
I'm Clint Arthur.
Hi, Clint. Hi, I'm Tammy.
Hi, Tammy.
Hi,
Nice to meet you.
I'm Mike.
Hi, Mike.
TJ? Nice to meet you.
TJ and Mike. All right. Yeah. Some 1-inch there. Old school, or is that just sitting here? Is it part of the table? Oh. All right.
10 seconds of it on there, I don't have no idea.
You guys want to promote? I'm making a behind-the-scenes video. What are you here to do today?
I'm actually a guitar player for a local artist, Laura Rope, who's on the verge of exploding, so
Oh, awesome.
it's kind of exciting to be part of it.
How do people find out about your music?
It's actually her music.
Okay.
Yeah, so she just hired me to play events and
Right on.
these guys and so forth.
And how about you? What are you here today to do?
I'm here promoting the San Diego Cake Show that's this weekend.
Oh, exciting.
Confections for a Cause. We're supporting Ronald McDonald House Charities.
Here you are. Oh, that's really a good cause.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah. This is our 29th year and our second year supporting them. So I've got a giant Ronald McDonald cake out there to help promote it.
How awesome. A great prop, a great costume,
Oh.
right?
It's not a costume. But
Well, I mean,
it's my uniform. But
yeah, well,
Yeah, it is. It's a wonderful charity, and it's going to be a huge show this weekend. So we're hoping to get
Where
a
is
lot of
it?
people out. It's in La Jolla.
Oh, great.
It's in the indoor mall, and we have 300 registered cakes.
Holy cow.
And then we have free demos, and we have raffle baskets and the whole schmear. So it's big. We raised like $6,000 last year for Ronald McDonald House.
Oh, for fun.
awesome.
I
Wonderful.
live just on the other side of all this.
Oh, well, then you can come by.
Yeah.
It's free.
Yeah. Oh, great. Yeah, I'll bring my son.
Magic word.
Perfect. We've got cupcake corner so the kids can decorate cupcakes for a donation.
For fun.
And then there's free demos, and Ronald McDonald's going to be there at noon.
Wow.
He's great.
He's actually never been, my son's never been, he's 9, never been.
I don't blame you.
okay.
but Ronald McDonald is a celebrity and he's pop culture.
I'm a
So
big supporter of the charity, though. My nephew was saved by Ronald McDonald House. Actually.
Yeah,
He had leukemia.
Oh, really?
Ooh.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Yeah. So.
So, yeah, it's a wonderful charity. So, my Ronald McDonald, he has the little Ronald McDonald House logo on his collar, so you can identify him as the charity.
Free cake and Ronald McDonald.
You got kid's dream. Well, Joan Kroc is from here, and they built up at the university.
No, we're good. This is the little area where I was interviewed last time. I'll be interviewed here again today. There's Tiffany, the producer, talking with the floor director.
Republican candidates are vying for the nomination on this Super Tuesday. We are cracking the president's code. He's collaborated with Blake Shelton and Miranda Lambert, country music star. Plus, it's an art form that you can actually see.
And I'm Mark Bailey, and the big question of the morning.
I know. I mean, there is a gigantic case.
I would have been a chartered member. All right, maybe it's not too late to
You're
join.
losing all this weight, Mark. You can't join now.
Sure I can. Just have to give up something else. You know, like salads.
California burritos.
Yeah, okay. All right. Well, let's get out to Ruben here first thing this morning and find out where he's hanging out. Oh, this is for a good cause. I know that. And this even had you shaving your chest earlier. You want to explain?
Did I see you shaving your chest earlier?
Today on San Diego Living, they've shared an address and a job description, but you might be shocked to learn what else our American presidents have in common. As Republican candidates are vying for the nomination on this Super Tuesday, we are cracking the president's code.
Well, all those people are hoping to join a very elite club. Think about how many presidents there's actually been in the United States. And do they all have something in common, or are they all very, very different people? Well, you have to crack the president's code to be able to answer that question, and our next guest has done that. He's written the book, The President's Code. It's the common traits of uncommon leaders, and Clint Arthur joins us here on San Diego 6 and San Diego Living. Good to see you.
Thanks for having me.
Well, so why write this book? What kind of motivates you to do this?
The President of the United States is arguably the most successful person in the world. And I wanted to see what were the leadership and success lessons that I could learn from the presidents by observing the decisions that they made in their lifetimes.
And I know they do have a lot of things in common. For example, you know, through history, most of them have had some kind of government service, haven't they?
They did. 31 presidents have had either been a governor or worked in federal government or both. And it's a very important trait to actually pay your dues and work your way up the ladder of politics to become the president.
But then it kind of begs the question, you know, every kid's told growing up, you know, you can grow up to be president. But if you haven't been a senator or in Congress or a governor or something along those lines, don't have any government experience, can you grow up to be president? Truly?
You truly can grow up to be president. In fact, some years ago, there was a young black boy who was born in the island of Hawaii. And he had an immigrant parent, and even he was able to make it.
Yeah, but he was a senator for about a week and a half before he started running for president, so...
Yeah, the point of government experience and working your way up the ladder is that in life, you must pay your dues. Whether you're going to try to be the president of the United States or the president of a company, it doesn't just happen overnight. You've got to work your way up.
Now, I noticed in the notes here, I thought this was really interesting. You say that John Quincy Adams kind of set the benchmark for presidents. Not George Washington?
No.
John Quincy Adams. Why?
If you want to be president of the United States, model your life after John Quincy Adams. He was born in Massachusetts, where 4 other presidents were born. He was a lawyer. He went to Harvard University. He got married between the ages of 25 and 31, like 68% of the presidents did. He had children. He was a Christian. He did everything right, including having federal government experience before he became president.
So why do you think these folks have so much in common?
And one more key thing, he went into the family business, which his father had the same name as him, and he was also the president of the United States. So, so many of these presidents have so many things in common because we're drilled into an image of what the president is like through the currency that we use every day. The $1 bill with the father of our country, George Washington. What was the name of his wife?
Martha.
We know that he was married, he had children, and he was a Christian. Abraham Lincoln.
Mary Todd Lincoln. Had children.
Had children and a lawyer. Okay? Andrew Jackson. Married, children, and a lawyer. We have these images of what a president is supposed to look like because we are using their images every day in our daily lives.
Okay, I've got a really interesting question for you here based on something that you said. You say George Clooney will never be president, but Eli Manning has a good shot at it. Not in San Diego, I might add.
George Clooney, never been married. There's only been one president who was not married, and that was way back in the beginning of the 1800s.
Okay.
George Clooney was a college dropout. There has never been a college dropout. Americans like a president who is committed to something and follows through to the end. George Clooney has no children. Children embody the American dream of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Now, Eli Manning, on the other hand, he is a college graduate. He is a Christian. He is married. He has a child. And he is also a military leader. If you look at the New York Giants as a military team, which they really are, out on the gridiron of the football field, he was able to lead them to victory. So,
but he couldn't get elected dog catcher in San Diego because he dissed the Chargers.
Well, if he went back and got a law degree and became a senator for the state of New York, he would be a really serious candidate for president of the United States.
Interesting. You know what? He's still writing his own, life story here, so you never know where it's going to go after football. So give me like the two biggest takeaways then.
Well, first of all, anything is possible in the United States of America, as long as you're willing to work hard and pay your dues. And number two, you have to make basic decisions that are in keeping with the American dream. If you want to embody the American dream, then you really have to walk your talk and live your life that way and model your life on the decisions of the former presidents.
Well, it's called the President's Code, Common Traits of Uncommon Leaders. Go ahead and give me one trivia question. I'm ready.
One trivia question?
Go ahead.
Okay.
I'm ready to go.
Which college had more presidents than any other college?
Which college?
Or university?
Harvard.
Bingo.
Oh, man.
Nice.
I got one right?
Congratulations.
I better stop right there. Clint, great to see you.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks for coming in. Can I count on your vote when I run someday?
If you're a lawyer.
Okay, well, no. All right, but thanks anyway. All right, he was named Entertainer of the Year.
Thank you very much. All right, well, the segment is done. Mike, what was your whole take on the whole situation?
Well, first of all, you were exceptionally well prepared. It was very obvious that you basically pre-produced the segment for them. You gave them everything they needed, the talking points, the questions. I assume you seeded them with a trivia question at the end, right? Mm-hmm. Okay. So, for them, you made the entire process completely painless, and you did the producer's job for them. So you had the hook, the headline, all the content, probably recommended B-roll.
I gave them the B-roll clips.
Okay. So for them, it's sort of like, okay, you basically help them sell more advertising at the end of the day and create a good segment that's going to get good, great feedback. Mm-hmm. Clearly, the producer loves you, Tiffany. The talent did as well. They saw you're polished, prepared. It was seamless for them. Clearly you had rapport either with the talent or he faked it well. Okay. Which one was it?
They do.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
I never met him before.
Oh, okay. Well, it did. I would have never known, honestly. And I've been around enough of this that it looked like you guys were in rapport right away. The next thing that really stood out for me was just how perfectly timed everything is. I mean, doing daytime programming in real time like that is an art form and a science as well. And it was flawless in such a simple environment. I mean, what they pull off with so few people blows my mind too. But getting back to the content, you walked in, Tiffany immediately complimented you on your tie, so you knew exactly what to wear. The next thing is mutual respect. She loved you right away, and she already asked you back. So
this is my second time.
Okay.
Here. So she loved me already.
Yeah.
Like when I called her up, she's like, "Oh, whatever you want to do, you're awesome. We'd love to have you back."
Good.
Right.
So that just goes to show the system works.
So what about for you? Like, was this what you expected? What was going on there, or how did it feel to in terms of the interaction with the producer when we were, we didn't have much time with her.
No.
We only get a few minutes.
We
with
had
her.
just enough time.
Yeah.
So, well, here I have a little saying that's expectations are the enemy of happiness. Okay. So I walk into everything with no expectations, but we had enough of a conversation earlier to know. And I knew it turned out one of the people who used to work here. So I had a little bit of an edge. But I walked in, and first of all, it was much smoother than I would have anticipated, for sure. So in terms of my expectations, it was much smoother. clearly at the very end, you had she said something about driving. I can't remember what, and you said, "Oh, speaking of driving," so then immediately entered into the Tesla hook. Michael's Tesla, and then she brought up Earth Day, right?
Right.
So it's like, okay, it's coming up.
April.
It's like, easy. Not to mention, and we have other segments too, because we have a green segment. So basically what I can easily do is go back to my team. You know, we can consult a little bit about how to assemble this. So if I can get maybe 2 or 3 segment plans from you, I'll have my team grab chunks from the documentary, put them together ahead of time. I'll send her as soon as I assume you're going to set things up.
Yeah.
But I'll provide a link to the website and the documentary with a high res. I'll give her a high def version right away that's ready for download. Maybe some recommended time codes in and out in addition to grabbing it.
Look,
boom.
The moral of the story is you produce the segment that you want to have aired on this station, and they're happy to get the product because it just makes their life easier, right?
Totally.
And it allows you to deliver the message that you want to deliver.
Right. No, and that's so we go back. What I'll do is take the video that we shot earlier and go through there, grab a couple hooks, maybe some trivia. You know, one of them, I think an easy one would be, can you name some celebrities who are driving electric cars? You know, we could start with Tesla and then go to electric cars. And, you know, one other thing I was thinking about, I don't know if you remember this, back when the Prius first came out, at the Oscars, Sting came up in it, or maybe it was Grammys, whichever one. But and then Leonardo DiCaprio. But it was like all of these celebs pulling up in Priuses.
That's great
during
footage
the show.
for B-roll.
Right, because here you can kind of show a natural progression. Sort of like the hybrids were a big thing, but now it's gone over to being electric
pop
cars.
culture because it's the Oscars, right?
Right.
Okay. Now, you talked about my tie. What they respond to in the tie is the color.
Yeah.
It's like neon, right? Now, you're obviously not a jacket and tie guy. You have a beautiful jacket, but not a tie. So I would suggest that you wear a neon-colored shirt.
Okay.
Right?
Yep.
And you can look cool. Like orange is a great, cool color for tropical, you know, April in San Diego.
I'm a green guy. Green works with my complexion.
Lime green.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'll get green.
And it fits in the theme of your segment, which is a green segment.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Okay. Good.
All right.
Easy. All right. So what else? Based on?
I thought it went extremely well. You were low key. You were no pressure. You weren't selling. You were just there to be cool, and you did exactly that. And she liked you, which is the most important thing. Right. And you smiled, which is great. And you have a great topic, and we have the hook. Right. I hit her with the hook right in the beginning, right?
Yeah, it was great.
So, boom.
Yeah, you brought up the celebrity angle right away, and that was really popular. And then I brought up what you had talked about earlier, which is we can give it away. So every viewer gets to have the movie for free.
Which she said was paying it forward. Great.
Boom. And I think that'd be another thing too. As long as it seems to me, after just listening to that little bit, being able to have a meeting with the producer and the experience clearly, when you're able to put their words back into their minds and mouths, they're going to resonate with that theme and that concept that much further as well.
Be sure to put the term "pay it forward" in the segment proposal.
Yeah.
Right. How we can pay it forward. Exactly.
Totally. Well, good. Well, I'm looking forward to having you in my studio next. So we talked about that today, so you have to come over and check it out, and maybe we'll just turn on the cameras real fast, too.
Awesome. And I'm looking forward to sending out your segment to my list when you are on the CW in April, if not sooner. Awesome.
All right.
All right, well, I'm back right where I started a couple hours ago, and a lot has happened in those hours. I was the first guest on the show today. This was the first time I've been the first guest on the show. Now, why was I the first guest on the show? Well, the news of the day was Super Tuesday, and my segment tied right into the news of the day. That's what you want. You want to be timed perfectly with the news of the day. You want to have your whole thing tied in with what's going on because that makes you relevant. And that makes you the #1 guest on the show. Man, that was an awesome, awesome feeling. And, you know, when you are doing this right, that's exactly what you are going to get. And I know you're thinking, yeah, of course, Clint can do it. You've done it all these times. Yeah, well, when you start doing it, you're going to do it. I know it sounds like a vicious circle, but it's really the truth. In order to do it, you need to do it. So get started, get in the process, start learning the craft of being an excellent guest on television, and pretty soon you're going to be the first segment up on the news or on whatever talk show you're on. So I think I'm going to sign off right now. I got all kinds of great meetings that came out of this stuff. Gosh, I mean, TV publicity is the way to up your game better and faster than anything else that's available to you. Because when you're on television, you are a newsmaker. And when you're a newsmaker, you're the person that people want to connect with. And now I'm going to go connect with a huge agent, and then I'm going to go connect with Mike Koenigs at his studio, and it's all because of television. So get out there and be a magic messenger, because you are the messenger, and no one is going to do your message for you. You have to be the messenger of your own message. So go for it.
All right, we are kind of wrapping up our Earth Week here as we launch into Earth Day over the weekend. And we are, boy, are we doing it in style. We're going to tell you how to get off the grid the way the celebrities do. Mike Koenigs is here today. He's a film director, and he's put together this documentary called Life with Tesla. So I thought I was going to hear all about Nikola Tesla, the scientist, and I was all excited about that. But it was even better than I thought. We're talking the Tesla automobile.
Yes, it is.
This is so cool.
It is. Fastest, coolest toy I've ever had.
I have not been up close to one of these things yet to even see that. This is an all-electric car.
Yes.
But this is the high end of the all-electric cars.
Right. Yeah,
so tell me about it.
Well, it's really the first generation real electric car that was production ready. It goes 0 to 60 in 3.7 seconds. No gasoline whatsoever. I've been driving now 20,000 miles, 2 years, no gas bills. But now, finally, electric cars are becoming very practical and affordable, starting with really the Nissan Leaf as the first practical one. The range isn't as great, but this year in August, Tesla is starting to ship their Model S sedan, which looks like a cross between like a BMW and a Maserati. It's gorgeous.
So not bad.
No, around 50 grand. So it's becoming more practical and 300-mile range.
When you say more practical, I really want to give folks perspective, and I hope you don't mind telling everybody how much you actually paid for this thing, because there's a point to the question here.
Yes, this thing started at about $110,000 and goes all the way up to $170,000 depending on features. So it's not practical for the everyday person, but I have a software company that supported this, and I wanted to make a film about getting off the grid and also transitioning to an all-solar lifestyle. So
the point is, a car like this that started off over $100,000, comparable features now, already half price.
Yeah,
in just a very few years.
Yes.
Now this is all carbon fiber.
Correct.
And
2,500 pounds. It's super lightweight, incredibly fast. Corners on a dime. It's got all the features. But now you can get a car for a family. Like I said, the Model S. They say it'll seat up to 7 people for $50,000. 100% electrical, similar performance. And again, you can install solar panels on your home, charge your car and power your home and have no gas, no electric bills, and that's really what my documentary was about.
Yeah, and you did this, and you and I were talking during the break about this. You've got the solar panels now, as do I.
Right.
And getting that electric bill down to almost nothing.
Yes.
Well, that is going to lead, I believe, to more electric products and rechargeable products throughout the house.
Yes,
you know, we'll be able to get away from gas ranges if we want to, gas water heaters and so forth, as long as that electricity is basically free to us coming from the sun.
Right.
That's how the celebs are doing it.
Totally. I mean, you look at this car when it came out, you had George Clooney and Brad Pitt and Leonardo DiCaprio and Dustin Hoffman all own the Tesla Roadster. And for them, I think it's really been a statement, really. But, you know, if you look at it. But now it's just becoming practical. Again, you're getting in that $30,000 range at the base level and $50,000, $60,000, $70,000. So, you know, it's really going to be focused on that BMW and Lexus market. But my prediction is they're going to become as common as iPhones in a short period of time.
And you used the iPhone in your notes here as a great example. When that thing first came out, I was like a lot of folks. I said, I can't afford that. My little cell phone here is like, you know, costing me $20 when I trade in my old one, and that iPhone's going to cost me hundreds of dollars.
Yeah.
Well,
we've seen in just, what, the last 2 years?
Exactly. I was just in Australia 2 weeks ago. 75% of the people I bumped into had iPhones. So Apple's become the most valuable company in the world for a reason, because they have great products, and now it does so much. It's practical.
And again, you make a really good point with that, in that it's got to be a good product.
Yes.
The mainstream public, the celebrities, like you say, can go out and make a statement, spend $110,000, $120,000 on an all-electric car and make a statement. But it's got to be practical for the general public. It's got to be a good product.
Yes.
We're getting there now.
Yeah, absolutely. The range is there. I mean, still, it's not practical for long distance. But for commuting, it's absolutely, and there's no emissions. I mean, there's literally nothing to wear out. There's less than a liter of fluids in the entire car. Other than batteries, or I should say tires and brakes, nothing really needs to be replaced.
So let's talk about the documentary, and I know that the folks can see this thing
for free.
Absolutely for free. So see, there's our little gift to you for Earth Day.
Yes.
What did you actually trace through with the documentary, and what will they see, and where can they see it?
Sure. Well, they just go to lifewithtesla.com to sign up. Just download the movie for free. It's a 42-minute feature documentary. And my vision and goal was, when I started this process, it was confusing and overwhelming. You know, like, what's involved in getting an electric car? What's involved in transitioning to an off-the-grid or a fully solar lifestyle? And I'm not talking about just my house, but the car too. And at the end of the day, I believe in freedom and independence. That's what being an American and being an entrepreneur is all about. So I thought, what about freedom and independence from gas and oil? That's where we all have to start. So I thought, why not just document exactly what I learned, exactly what it cost, exactly what the process was, all the challenges, and give that away, because if I can make it easier for someone to make a transition to an all non-gas lifestyle, being off the grid, being free, being independent, I think that's what living in this country is all about. And also, as we grow and we just look at the possibilities and potential, we need to support great entrepreneurs, great inventors who are creating the possibilities and the technology like we have here.
Fantastic. All right, it's absolutely free. Life with Tesla. And Mike Koenigs, your little gift to everybody for Earth Day. Couldn't have come along at a better time.
It's
Thank
been
you so
a pleasure.
much.
Absolutely.
And, we'll take a ride in your car anytime.
Let's go for a spin.
Okay. Won't cost us anything, will it?
No, it won't. Hey, this is Mike Koenigs, and I wanted to just provide a little shout out for Clint Arthur, because with his help I was able to be on TV today for my first time. Here's a little backstory. I had an opportunity to get on the CW channel, which is Channel 6 here in San Diego, during Earth Day, and I was featured alongside my Tesla Roadster. The quick backstory here is 2 years ago I invested in an electric car and also installed solar on my home with the dream and the vision of being able to getting off the grid. In other words, I wanted to eliminate my electric bill and never have to buy gasoline again. Well, as of now, I've driven just shy of 20,000 miles, and my electric and gas bill has gone down to almost zero. So combined, it's close to $700 a month. So the installation cost of my solar panels will be paid for in about 8 more months from now, less than 3 years. We figured about 2 years and 8 months. That's pretty cool news. Well, I made a feature documentary called Life with Tesla. It's at lifewithtesla.com. It's like a movie you can download and watch for free about everything I learned during this process and the benefits of having an electric car and getting off the grid and going solar. And the documentary is there to educate other people so they can do it too. So what Clint was able to do is work with me and teach me how to put together a presentation and a proposal for a producer at a local news station. He provided the connection, and the first step was to bring me in and introduce me to the producer when he was on a show himself. Now, Clint is really, really good in front of camera, and he really understands how to get and be on TV. And if I remember correctly, I hope I'm accurate, Clint's been on about 30 times so far. He's media friendly, he's media savvy, and he really understands how to navigate through this. So he was able to introduce me to this producer. We connected right away. He said, hey, here's an idea for how you should have Mike on here. Went back, actually drafted the first version of the proposal. We tweaked it a little bit, sent that off to her, and she said, yeah, this sounds great. Scheduled me about a month in advance, or at least said, yes, I'm going to have you on for an Earth Day program. So this morning, I showed up about 5 minutes early, brought in my car right into the studio environment, It wasn't too much later, about 45 minutes later, a gentleman came out. His name is Mark Bailey, who's one of the show hosts. Came on. He had the sheets, actually all the information that we had prepared ahead of time, knew the story. Turned out he was a solar enthusiast himself. Cameraman comes out. They start rolling in real time. He asked me a few questions, and the segment lasted about 4 minutes long or so. It went really, really well, and about 10 minutes later, I got this text message from the show producer saying, "Mike, you rocked. It was great working with you, and any friend of Clint's is a friend of mine," which is awesome because he has such a great reputation and relationship. So I thought this whole thing was pretty darn cool, and the bottom line is, without Clint's help, I don't think I could have done this myself, because even though I know people in TV, in fact, I knew someone who worked at the station, she never put me on the show because I never pitched an interesting a segment. And if I would have had the knowledge that I have now, and believe me, I'm going to take advantage of this. So the other cool benefit was when I came home, I had some new leads that people had obviously visited the website, requested the movie, and started downloading it, so my database grew as well. But the bottom line is, number one, I can definitely recommend. Clint knows what he's talking about. He knows what he's doing. He's a guy who's not just teaching you, but he's also showing you how to do it, and he's on TV too. And one of my rules is never take advice from someone who's not doing it first, okay? So the other one is he's enthusiastic. He's been a great coach. In fact, 2 days ago called me up and said, "Hey, do you mind if we just do a little simulated trial? I'll interview you just like the newscaster is going to do it." And we used Skype video, so I looked at him, he looked at me. It was just like we were going to be on TV together. And the feel of what we did was virtually identical. So I'm really pumped and really excited about this. And look, I've spent 7 years in front of camera, and I've never been mainstream before. So for me, this was a big breakthrough and a great opportunity to learn some more and get involved in a world that's bigger than just online, and something I want to participate in, because one of my goals has been to get mainstreamed as well. So big shout out. Thank you, Clint, for making this happen and giving me the coaching. And to anyone who's watching this, no question about it, Clint Arthur is a guy that you can work with. He's going to deliver on what he promises, and he by far exceeded my expectations in terms of making this happen, hooking me up, coaching me and guiding me through what's going to work and what's not to work. In fact, he kind of saved my butt today, because I'm on the way to the station, and for some reason I lost the physical address to the place. I knew approximately where the area was. It was about 8:15. I was supposed to be there at 8:30. I'm like, oh my God, what am I going to do? Texted him on the fly and said, "Don't have the address, can you send it to me?" And of course he forwarded it. And so saved my butt on a couple different levels. That was pretty cool. All right, well, that's it. Thanks a lot for watching. I'm excited. This is a great day, and it's definitely a brand new world that's been open to me. And my goal right now is to do it 20 or 50 more times. So once again, thanks, Clint, and good luck when you do it too. Bye-bye.
This is our new best friend here, Clint Arthur.
These are the basic elements of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness that Americans can relate to and understand, and they look for those elements in their leaders.
Well, it's a fascinating analysis. Clint, thanks for coming in.
Thank you for having me.
Clint Arthur, you're the best.
Oh,
Thanks
thank
so
you.
much for being here. We just love him,
My
don't
pleasure.
we?